In this tutorial video, you will learn how to correctly wire your Dyrus DigiWare system, configure each DigiWare module directly from the D70 display, set up WebView-M to be able to visualize measurements. Here is an electrical panel comprising a 3-phase incomer and several single-phase outgoing circuits. Power monitoring is done using a Dyrus DigiWare system made of a D70 display with embedded web server, a U30 voltage module, and 3 I35 current modules, one for the main incomer and 2 for the 6 outgoing circuits. I35 modules will be connected to TR split-core current sensors. A set of cables will be used, RJ45 cables to connect modules together and RJ12 for the connection of modules to the TR current sensors. The panel is not powered on yet. It will remain off for the duration of the wiring. First of all, connect the 24-volt DC power supply to the D70, then plug an Ethernet cable to connect the display to the network. Mount the Dyrus DigiWare U30 voltage module, which is unique for the system, and plug the voltage input terminal. Mount all 3 I35 current modules. Connect modules together via the RJ45 DigiWare bus, first between the display and U30 module. Then from the U30 module to the first I35 module, and eventually between I35 modules. The RJ45 bus allows a quick wiring without risk. Connect the TR current sensors to the I35 current module thanks to the RJ12 cables. Once the system is fully wired, the panel may be powered on. The display is lit and the on LED of each module is stable green. You can change the language by clicking on Parameters. The default password is 100 or 1000, depending on firmware versions. Then click on Display and Language. For this video, we'll stay in English. Note that a long press on the back button takes you back to the main menu. Start the auto discovery process for the modules connected to the DigiWare bus by going to Parameters and click on Auto Detect Serial Devices. Select the Modbus addressing range for the discovered modules and the auto discovery method. By default, it's set to Fast, which optimizes the scanning duration, but it can only be used with Dyrus DigiWare modules, Dyrus B or Dyrus A40 power meters. If other measurements devices are connected, use the full mode. In this panel, only DigiWare modules are connected, so the fast mode can be used. Click on Start, then validate with OK to launch the auto discovery process. COM LEDs of all modules on the DigiWare bus start blinking synchronously. After about 1 minute, a pop-up message appears on the screen, and the COM LEDs of I35 modules are lit and stable to indicate that there's some address conflicts. This is normal since modules have the same factory default settings, their Modbus address is also the same. To fix this address conflict, press the push button on the front of each I35 module one by one for about 2 seconds. The COM LEDs of the I35 modules start blinking, and the auto discovery process is finished. Note that the order used when pressing the push buttons will also determine the addressing order. Go to the List Products menu to check that all modules have been detected and to find out what Modbus address they've been assigned. You can see the modules are listed in the same order as when you press the push buttons. Now let's configure the different DigiWare modules. In this tutorial we'll show you how to do it directly from the D70, but you can also configure the entire system from the Easy Config System software by connecting your PC to the D70 via USB or Ethernet. This will be explained in another tutorial. Go to Parameters, then Configure a device. First, select the U30 voltage module. Click on Network and OK to enter the electrical network settings. Network type, here it's 3-phase. Nominal voltage, here 400 volts. Nominal frequency, here 50 Hz. And the phase rotation, here direct. Once the settings have been entered, click on Send Settings. The voltage module is now correctly configured. Go back to the device list by clicking on the back button and this time select the first I-35 current module. Click on Load Settings. A table displays the settings of the I-35 module. Press OK to enter settings, then click on Manual Config of Loads. This I-35 module measures a load L1, which you can name General, for example. It's a 3-phase load measured by 3 current sensors and the nominal current is 10 amps. Enter the CT1 settings. Check its orientation, associated voltage, and rating, which is automatically detected by clicking on Detect. Click on OK once this is done, and scroll down to CT2 and CT3 to repeat the same operation. Don't forget to save changes by scrolling down and clicking on Send Settings. Go back to the device list and now configure the second I-35 current module. The second I-35 module measures 3 single-phase loads. First, the load 1, which you need to change to 1P plus N 1CT and name PC1 for example, with a nominal current of 5 amps. For the CT1, orientation is direct, associated voltage is V1, a 63 amps rating is detected. Don't forget to click on Send Settings. Do the same for the 2 other loads L2 and L3, which need to be configured as 1P plus N 1CT as well and renamed as you wish. The second I-35 module is now configured. It measures 3 single-phase loads as shown by the table. There is one more I-35 current module to configure the same way as the previous I-35 module to measure 3 single-phase loads. Here we go. The DigiWare system is now configured. communication settings of the display can be changed in Parameters, then Display, then RS-485 or Ethernet communication. Change the IP address of the D70 display to be able to access it remotely. Now, let's move on to WebView-M, the web server embedded in the D70 display. Connect to WebView-M by typing the IP address of the D70 in your browser's address bar. From firmware version 2.3, which includes new cybersecurity features, WebView asks you to change the default password of all accounts. Connect as admin with the default password, which is admin. The application asks you to modify the password, which is expired. You will need to create a new password at least once a year. An alarm will be triggered 15 days before the password expiration to remind you. Once connected as admin, click on the wrench icon in the top left corner, then click on Devices. Click on Modify Active Configuration, then Sources. From the Data Sources tab, click on the Scan button to add products present in the D70 display's topology. Once products are added, you can change their names and enter an area to sort them by location. The plus button allows you to add products manually to the topology, whether they are locally connected to the D70 via the DigiWare or RS-485 bus or remote via Ethernet. In the Circuits tab, you can check that loads are correctly configured and named. Naming was done from the D70 display directly, but you can also do it or change the names from WebView. Go to the Hierarchies tab, click on Add a hierarchy, choose a name and a fluid, and validate. The modules and associated loads are listed in the left pane. All you need to do is drag and drop the loads on the central screen. Here, a main incomer split in several circuits. Once finished, save the hierarchy. At last, go to the Photo Views tab. This menu allows you to upload a picture and to place elements such as real-time measurements, alarms, or text directly on the picture to get a custom overview of your electrical installation. Create a new photo view, named Demo Panel, for example. Choose an icon. Upload a picture of your choice from your laptop, and validate. You can now drag and drop elements of your choice, such as measurements, directly on the picture by choosing the device and the measurement parameter. You can also create additional photo views if necessary. Here, for instance, you can create a second photo view displaying the single line diagram of the same demo panel. Here you go! You can now go back to the home screen and enjoy the different visualization menus to visualize and analyze your measurement and consumption data. In this tutorial video, we showed you how to set up your Dirus DigiWare power monitoring system directly from the D70 display and how to configure the web server to be able to visualize and analyze data remotely on WebView-M.